It's Friday! And Doug is getting his car primed today. He does not know that, but maybe, not sure. But he's priming his car today. As you come in and take a look what we have done, I've just come in this morning and actually sanded this a little bit. We want to feather it off a little better. I'll blow that off here in a second. I haven't got the air on right now. Someone says they keep hearing the air hose. Well, we have the air on and we have a leak. But anyways, as you see this, all the headlight doors were covered in. The front is all taped off. We don't want to get any paint up or primer or overspray on top of the engine compartment. We've got the sponge foam all down inside the hood, all inside the trunk, inside the doors. The best we could do it. We've got the windows taped off, all the silvers taped off on the sides. We're ready to rock and roll. We're going to put some primer on it. And basically, I'm just going to take you through it with me as live as possible. And when I mean live, we were trying to set up a little bit. And what's the sense? We'll show you what we're doing. I'm coming over here to these mess of guns. These are the guns I've used off and on for everything. When I'm done painting something, I will throw a little thinner in it and try to clean it out. But right at the present moment, I just want to get a gun that'll spray some primer. That's got some thinner in it, so I'm thinking this probably was the last gun that I used. She seized up over the end there, so you can see where she's leaked out and seized up. I pull that off, and probably she'll start again. But I'll just take that off. There you go, look at that now, would you? We'll take that off and just check it and see what the end looks like. And what I mean by what the end looks like, there's a little, it comes out there in the end, there's nothing on it. That's good. And then what I do is I look through that little hole going through there and see if there's anything on that. Because if anything on that, it really matters when you're spraying your car. It'll matter because of the pattern will not come out right. All right, this little gun here, this is a $39.99 on sale. It says 30 to 50 pounds PSI. Well, I spray at least 50 or more. I like spraying high pressure because it lays it down, and that's what I do. But this little gun here has been used many times, and this is the gun I'm going to use to put primer on. One thing about it, it's got an awful small, cup on it, but that's okay. This little gun here, this here tells me my fan. It's got a small to a big, so I can adjust my fan with this, whether I want it big or small. Generally, we're wanting, I would say probably a 10-inch pattern would be good. And I'm just saying that. I don't know what the book says, but I'm just saying a 10-inch pattern, 12-inch pattern. What I mean by is the pattern, how wide it is. And what I do is I spray that on and then I half it every time. So I have a 10-inch pattern. When I go the next stripe, I put 5 inches over top of what I've already sprayed, and then you'd be 5 that only has one coat. So you just overcoat it, if you know what I'm saying. So if I went up here a foot like this, next time I come up, I just move over halfway. Next time I come up, I just move over halfway. That's basically it. This here, just the pattern up and down, and this is your product. So how much product you want to put on. I generally like to open the product up because we're trying to prime it. We want to put primer or product on the car. When I'm looking at the car, I'm looking at all the places. We don't want to paint those in there, prime those in there. I'm looking at all the places that have lead, a little bit of filler, a little bit of lead. Them are the places, and the edge of the paint, them are the places that I'm going to have to pay attention to when we're blocking. And we will see it when we put the guide coat on. But we've got everything taped up fairly well. We're hoping that we have it taped up really well. I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to give them to Jolene. She's going to put them in her pocket. But this is the gun I'm probably going to use. Right at the present moment, I'm going to go in and turn the air compressor on. If you look around, the paint room is still dirty. We've sanded and done a few things in here. There's some on the floor. It does not bother me that that's there right now because I am not looking for, it does not matter if a little bit of dust gets in it. I'll be sanding it out, and generally it floods to the top. So instead of me spending the time to make everything perfect in there, this is the time that not everything has to be perfect. We're just going to get some primer on, get some product on it, and then we can get going. So I'm going to go turn the air compressor on. And that's what you hear, the noise pissing. It's probably got a little leak or needs to be fixed or changed or something. I haven't got to it yet. But basically it rags here. I'm just going to take one out. I'll show you what I'm going to do with the... I got thinner in this, just a cheap paint thinner. I was just out and moved the 62. Made me feel real good. You can see how this is turned back, how that makes a straight pattern. Watch yourselves here. Make a straight pattern like that. I got that turned back. As I turn this forward, see how the pattern just got bigger? What I like to do when I spray this stuff, I'm going to pull a pattern here for a second to show you. You want the pattern the same amount of material from top to bottom. You try to. If you get, I find sometimes when I have so much pressure on, that the pattern sometimes will get empty in the center, and I do not want that. So you can open it up too far sometimes. Watch the pattern, how nice and full it is. Right there, nice and full. Now if I put it too much, it can empty out in the center. See how it emptied out in the center? Too much. I'm going to pull that pattern back a little bit. You can still see it's empty in the center. Still see it. And as I pull back a little bit, looks a little better. You can see how that does that, and that's how you adjust your gun to try to lay it on evenly. Right now, as I put the rag on top of the gun, I'm just trying to get all the thinner inside the gun all around, clean it out a little bit. And then I with the hole. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 guns there, eh? So there's 4 paint jobs that went on there. The gun seems to be working okay. The fan door's working even better, shut on his own. And that's where we're going from there. I'm going to take the gun over. I'm not worrying about the gun too much. It seems to be spraying okay. This is how basic it's going to be. There's going to be some things getting painted, baby. You know what I mean? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the bird bath, I guess you call that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it up so when Jolene gets to display her Bugatti, I'm going to paint the bird bath to go with it, I think. I think them's the kinds of people would own something like that. It wouldn't be me, that's for sure. Huh? Wouldn't be me, that's for sure. That's what I'm doing. We're getting closer. So what's going to happen here when I prime the car will stay primed, and I'm not going to do anything to it. I get the day off after I prime it. I might clean the shop up just a little bit, might clean it up. But I'm going to get the day off because we're going to leave the primer set for the day and night to heal. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm just cleaning that out a little bit there. You can see how the primer left little bits of balls of material in there. That's where some of your dirt comes from, some of your boo-boos come from, is the gun. Now, I'm going to look around before I start digging in the... Alright, we're going to get some paint or some primer rocking and rolling. Is there half a can anywheres? I've got a full can of primer right here. Man, there's something dirty. I got a dust collector here. What I'm going to do is this primer. You have to be like when you're working in a shop. You have to be careful. More hardeners for something. But you have to be careful when you're doing your mixing your primer and your body fill and whatever your paint. You have to make sure, be careful that you're mixing it right and that you have mixed it. I can count on both hands how many times I've messed up that way by not being careful and thorough about about what you're mixing it with and if it's mixed right or not. Yeah. I'm lucky that I have one of those, and it mixes it up quite nice. But them primers there, if they set for a while, on the bottom there'll be a hard layer that you have to get mixed up there to do the right job. That's the material that you want on top of the automobile. As I go around here, I see we got a little bit of dust on the car there. I'm just going to blow it off gently. I'm going to blow it off gently because let's face it, I am not going to spray big air on the car, because that's not what I'm going to do when I spray the gun on there. I'm going to spray the product on. We do not want to blow air really heavy on the paper and blow it off. Checking things. I'm gonna go get a rag. You know, this is not a big deal. We'll put primer on. It's not a big deal. It's just something that has to be done to make it look the way it's going to look. There's going to have to be things to be fixed. After I prime it, I know that already. I know I'm going to end up putting something here, something over there, but I want to get the prime on first so I can try and coat it and do a little good job. I'm only 5'9", so I need a stool. Also today, we'll let Jolene do a little bit of priming. Jolene's all right with that. Jolene's all right with that. I'm just wiping it off gently. Down this side, and then I run the hose down this side, so I can just have two hoses to run down the edge of the shop. And that's how it makes it for myself. You run a little tape over top of that piece there, lock on the front. I'm not wiping anything on the car before I prime it, not wiping anything on it, not washing it off with Windex, not washing it off with anything. I'm just blowing it off. My fan is down on the ground over there, and my paint room is from the top. That's how I can call my paint room a downdraft. Is it not true? Sure it is. Downdraft. It's not like everybody else's downdraft, that's all. And also, it does not take a paint room to paint a car. It's the man that's usually done. It's almost like the hockey stick does not make Bobby Orr. You know what I'm trying to say? Bobby Orr is a good hockey player no matter what stick he uses. You know what I'm saying? So as I spray the car down with a $39 gun, doesn't make me any less or any more if I use any other gun. You know what I'm saying? So don't be scared or think you have to have. Don't be scared or think you have to have something that looks like sticky. Decent handprint there though. So what I'm saying is, the tools do not dictate how good a job you do. The tools do not do that. I'm gonna take a little. See a couple finger marks right there? I'm just going to take some spray 9 and wipe it off. When I say finger marks, that means that would be an oil thing going on. I'm just going to take this, wipe it off. Get another rag, wipe that off. Down just another time to make sure it's shook it. And basically, what we have done is we painted off the best we could. You see, nothing gets in on the inside of it. We'll throw some primer on it. Probably do a couple coats. I will wear a mask. Jolene will wear a mask. Sure what one's the best mask, but this one's the best mask. You get a mask at all? You know where there must be a cleaner one than that around, but that's fine for me. I'll give you this one. It's your mask. I'll use this bad boy. Want that blown out at all?
Yeah.
Can I blow it off a little bit? I'm gonna blow mine Jolene's mask up. See if there. I'll get it. I'm excited. We got a new build in the rain. I'm thinking. Free range, they call that. I got a free range build. That's what we call like a chicken in the back door yard. They get to do whatever they want. Can't wait to share that with everybody and get it rocking and rolling. It's gonna be fun because there's gonna be a lot of controversy because I'm gonna do it my way. And you're gonna get to watch. I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do yet. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Just waiting for the primer to mix up there right now. Got the fan going. Gun is over there. It's clean. I am not going to do this. Clean this out. Now this primer is mixed 1 quart to one of these hardeners. Okay, so I'm going to fill one of these up. And that'll be my primer. That'll be the 1 quart for the one hard. Here we go. So we got some. This is the primer that I use. That I use. There's our mask. I'm going to open the primer up. I'm going to beat a hole in the edge of it all the way around. And this is how simply this is mixed. I'm using the garbage can as a table right now. inside here. That's just so when it pours around, it goes in there, it runs back into the can. That's all I'm doing it for. I'm going to try to pour that in there without spilling it, but I highly likely doubt it. I'm going to cut this off, put it in there now. So one of these, 1 quart. Dump that in there. And I'll just put it in there first. I'll dump the primer on top of it. Help stir it up a little bit. I'm going to check this before I dump it. I'm going to check it. The reason I say I'm going to check it because it could not be mixed all the way. And if I make that mistake, it won't be good. It will not be good. Turn the fan off for a second. Turn the fan off for a second. This is a good day for us, you know. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. She's all stirred up. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. We'll use this to stir that. Right? She's all stirred up. Don't want the mask full of primer, do us, sweetheart? No. Nope. Nope. Who's your daddy? Just like that, eh? And that just runs the primer down and around there again, you know? That's all that does. That's for dripping, I guess. I guess the only advantage of the lacquer primer, if you still use lacquer primer, the advantage of it is that you can leave it mixed up sometimes if you're using it every day, and you can spray it every day if you want to. Just check out your body work and see what it looks like and that sort of stuff. But I'm at the point where we try to get it all done, and then prime it with the primer, and then go for it after that. On Doug's card here, I'm going to have to just go easy for a second and prime some places that I feel is going to use more product than others. And that's not a big deal either. That's not a big deal. Yeah. I'm not being real fussy with the primer. Paint I will filter. Primer I usually don't filter. I just try to get it on there because it's something that we're working with and trying to sand it off. I'm going to set it here for a minute. I'm going to get a mask on. Jolene, did you want to try your mask on? I'll take the camera from you and get your mask on. Jolene's getting her mask on. See if it fits, you know, and then we'll get geared up. Put her in there. Awesome. Best looking woman I've ever seen in a mask. There you go. Get her mask on. I'll put my mask on. Feed this down over me fat head. What I'm gonna do is I got the gun there. It's got the primer in it. First, I'm gonna turn the fan on. I'm going to find a fan pattern that I want to use, and I do not generally use the same fan pattern as if I paint. Priming and painting is two different things, and generally I want the primer on in places thicker than, well, I want it on thick so I can use it as material to work with. And also, primer generally doesn't run like paint. I'm gonna start at the back. I put it about half pattern because I want the product on the car. Wrong side. Oh, damn it. Want to grab you a piece of paper? I'll get it. I'll get it. Sit on the bench. No, let's go right there. Thank you, my lovely assistant. I'm going to finish this corner panel. I'm going to do this side of the roof, and I'll go the other side. finish what I'm doing, then I'm going to pass it over to Jolene. She's going to prime the hood. We're going to call that girl power. Is that right, baby? Pow! You want to see Jolene throw an uppercut? She got a good one. She got a good one. You can still see if you come take a look. This is what I'm nervous of. It's dripping down so close to that silver. You can still see the edge of that in that primer. To me, you can still see that. So we're going to be really careful when we, we're going to let it put a coat on it. We'll let it set up a little bit. We'll put another wet coat on it and try to get enough product on there to do the job. I don't know who's wearing knee pads painting, but I do. That thing has got a short and let's keep cruising here. So this is what we're doing. We're going to mix some more, stir this up. I'll finish the door, then I'm going to hand it off to Jolene. Girl power. I can see us putting the whole gallon on. I mean, we're not even done yet. We got we're almost half a gallon just to prime it once. So we will put the whole gallon on. Beautiful day out there. Beautiful day out there. It's Friday! I get the day off early, see? And Jolene's still got to process all this stuff, right? I think what I'll do is I'll dream about the next dream car. It's kind of something when someone says, build me something, and you build it the way you want to build it. Whatever you want, I'll accept. It's like, wow, love that. Love that. You couldn't ask for much more in life, could you? To do it your way? Before you start spraying, you can start spraying again. Make sure you're trying the gun just for shits and giggles. You couldn't spit out something stupid. I do that quite a bit, don't I, baby? Spit out something stupid. This is where I hand off the baton, and it should be set and ready to rock and roll. All you have to do is pull the trigger and do what you think you need to do. Start from whatever side you start. Start from this side, start in the center if you can. If you can't reach that far, just pull the gun. But make sure when you pull the trigger, when you paint something, I'm talking to everybody at the present moment as I talk to you, make sure you're on the move when you pull the trigger. So we'll start up by the window where the window's taped. Got your hose? Can you run your hose over your back? Flop it over your back. There you go. You want to get ahead of it? There you go. Get yourself comfortable. Don't get your feet all tied up before you start. Okay. And if you only can do half of it, and then come up and do the other front half. So start in the center. Be on the move before you press the trigger. I'd start back by the window if you could. Start back by the window. Your gun, start pointing back by the window, and then pull the trigger and move on to the hood. So you're aiming for the centerpiece. A little closer. Slow down. There you go. Slow down a little bit. Make sure it's all there. There you go. You come back forth. Beautiful. There you go. Now you got it. Try not to lay it out so much, if you know what I'm saying. Stop for a minute. Try not to lay your gun out so much. Try to point it down on the car if you can a little bit. Come to the other side here. Come to the other side. Do the exact same thing. Do the exact same thing. You want to try to get to the center of the hood if you can. If you can, I will. Just do your thing. Ah. There you go. Try to get the center of the hood. There you go. Do it a couple times. There you go. Now try to slow down and do it. There you go. Try to get it wet there in the center. That's good. Awesome. Beautiful. Sound like you're doing a magazine shoot or something. Awesome. Beautiful. Keep it up. Good work. Right to the edge of the hood. Miles to do the top of the fender. Keep rocking and rolling. To the auto. Alright, stop for a second. Stop for a second. Now, when you're priming that, you can't have the gun spraying this way to spray that. If you know what I mean. You got to get down on that. Let's just finish that fender off. Finish that fender off where you're going there, and then we'll go to the other side. Good. Go to the other side. Now, just grab your hose, pull your hose, or you can do that, yep, you can grab that. On that side of the fender, you can see where it's dry, can you not? Yep, give it another shot. Beautiful. Good. Now, go back over to the center of the hood. You see the center of the hood, you got dry, you might as well go to the other side of the fender and try that, where you were before, and just try to get it down. You see where it's dry, try to wetten, try to get some primer on that. Now you're spraying like a champ. That's good for there for now. Come up here and spray a little bit across the front of this hood here where it's dry a little bit. You can see. You stand back here, Ryan, look. You stand back, Ryan, see all that? See the dry spots? Let's get them wet. Atta girl. Go up for a second, whoa. Get a little bit of primer, don't get too much primer in front of that. Want your shoot right here. Let's do the other fender. Am I allowed to take the gun from you? Jolene did a beautiful job. I'm going to pass her the camera. Now we're just going to go to the back and start all over again the process. Shows the trunk lid, the 2 quarter panels up beside the doors to the front. have 2 more gunfuls, one gunful of the current one. And what I'll do, or what I'm going to do, is finish what I'm doing, cut the fingers off, and then I'm going to run around and use the rest of the primer on the places where I think it needs product. A little bit of primer that I have left in there, I'm going to use when we do the fixings on what we have in there now. When we fix it, that little bit of primer that we have left in there, I'll use that for that. In there, I'm talking. This stuff is done because it's going to go harder in it. That'd be nice to have some primer on the car, eh? Nice to have primer on the car. That's basically what it boils down to. We're going to have to let it set because it's not going to be dry enough to work with. Windows, around wherever I think that it's not feathered nice, around the sides, just any area that I think it might need it. car's primed. Thanks, Jolene. She's all done being primed. What I did there is with the last load, I just poured it on the places where I thought that it needed it. And that's on that line, the edge where we taped off. And it's all the way around the windows, and it's wherever we tried to feather the paint off is where it needed it, where it needs it. And that's basically where we're going. Now we have to hope that we did a good tape job. I'm hoping that we did a good tape job. We have no problems from there. Now it comes time to clean the gun out. And this is generally what I do. I just walk over here, pour a little thinner in the gun. I'll run her through, probably twice, shake her around, and that's it. I'm all done. That's where she goes. I will clean up the little container there and wipe that stuff off. But that's fair primed in a nutshell. Looks good. Every place looks pretty good. I can see on the side of the car where the paint is not quite feathered all the way yet. We'll get her. We'll get her. But it does look nice now that it's covered. This is a feather fill primer. I would say it's probably, for me, it's probably the best primer that I've used to put on a bare metal. That's what I do. Make myself happy, don't I, baby? Hang around you the whole time. Like I said, and everybody's heard, I got a build coming up, and I'm going to be able to do whatever I want to do. If you want to, it's up to you. If you want to use your brain, see something that you would like to have built, put it on the old page, I don't know, whatever. Do whatever you think you need to do. I will build what I want to build, don't get me wrong. But I can be persuaded at any time. Do it. It's Friday!